Howdy guys, Radio Magic here. I hope you are all having a fantastic morning, day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are and whatever you are up to. Today, we're back with our mini-series on the channel, How Viable is Control in the Historic Meta? But before that, I just have a few channel updates for you. I normally put these at the end of the video, but I thought I'd put it at the start since more people watch the start of the video. So just to let you know, I upload a new video every single day, so there's always something to see. On Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, we have Standard and Historic. We're always playing something wacky, something interesting, colourless combo, Doom Foretold, Scoot Swarm, Landfall, always something different to check out. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have our mini-series that we're doing at the moment, actually, How Viable is Control in the Historic Meta? We've had Azorius, Bant, Jeskai, Grixis, and today we have Esper as well. And if you're interested in drafting at all, then make sure to stop by every single Saturday and Sunday where we'll be posting 2 or 3 draft videos, so come and check that out. So always something to see every single day, so always some reason to check back. And if you're interested in catching me live at any point, then you can go over to Twitch, Radio Magic over there, and catch me streaming live. So if you want to interact at all, maybe ask me some questions or let me know what you think on some of the decks live, then come over to Twitch and check that out. A link in the description will be down below, so yeah, go and see that. But yeah, on to the deck tech. So Esper Control. This is our 5th one in the series, I believe, and Esper's an interesting one. If you guys are not interested in the deck tech, you just want to jump into some games, go down to the description right now. There are some timestamps down there with no spoilers, and you can jump straight into some gameplay if you know what all of these cards do. But I'm going to give a little bit of description of the deck and the angle I've decided to take on it, and then go through the cards one by one. So Esper, I have taken some pointers off of Azorius and Grixis. Grixis is what we played last time, and I currently think Azorius is probably the stronger of the control lists. You'll notice this list is a bit different to some of the other lists in the sense that it has a lot of 4-ofs. We're running 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Absorbs, 4 Teferi's, 4 Wrath of Gods, and 4 Shark Typhoons. We're also running quite a few number of Narsets as well. The reason for this is I think this list has like quite a bit of consistency with it. We can consistently find what we want, and I think just Teferi's and Shark Typhoons is enough of a win con. I've taken a bit of inspiration from Grixis with Soul Shatter, something I've been absolutely so high on recently in my black control lists. I'm definitely going to be playing this more and more as the weeks go on and we revise these lists. But yeah, let me jump through the list real quick and show you just briefly why I'm running each of the things I'm running, and yeah, the rationale for that. So on the 1-drop slot, we're running 3 Fatal Pushes. I couldn't make room for the 4th one, and I feel like we have enough interaction as it is, so we're only running 3 of these. These with Fable Passage in our mana basis makes it relatively easy to trigger Revolt. We also have like Sharks that we can make to trigger Revolt as well. If our opponent kills a Narset, we can Fatal Push it. But this is good enough if this is just killing a 1 or 2 drop a lot of the time, just to get us to our board wipe, sort of save us a bit of life. 4 Thoughtseizes, not much rationale has to be provided here. We are in a blacklist. Turn 1 Thoughtseize is probably the strongest play in Historic you can make, so we shall be joining our opponents with that. On the 2-drop slot, we only found room for 2 Sensors. Sensor is something that's like really good because you can cycle it early, but at the same time it falls off quite late in the game, so don't really want this too much, though it is quite good, so we're going to find some number of these. When we come back to revise this list and we play over the games today, I might decide I want more or less Sensors as we go forward, so that's something to keep an eye out. We're running the 1-of Search Rascanter because we do not want a duplicate of this, and this is something we are happy, we'd much rather top deck much later in the game when our graveyard's already full, we're struggling on, we've already run out of gas, we just want to play this on turn like 9, 10, something like that, it flip on the next turn, and then we just get some activations, and we can get them double activations with Teferi as well. So we don't really want to draw this early, but if we do draw early, some extra scry value is always going to be good. We're running a 1-of Dovin's Veto just in the main. We're running the rest of the play set in the board. This is obviously for your non-creature spells. Pretty good in all matchups outside of like Goblins, but you're going to want a Dovin's Veto a lot of the time. Like being able to counter an Ugin or a Nissa or something is quite relevant. So yeah, Dovin's Veto is just in here as our 1-of sort of catch-all answer. We're then running 3 Narsets. Narsets provide some level of consistency to the list, always being able to find our non-creature spells, since every single spell in the main deck is a non-creature, so Narset can find what we need. And because we're running high density of a lot of our spells, such as Shark Typhoons, Pushes, Thoughtseizes, counter spells, Narset should be able to find what we're looking for. And Narset into Narset is still a good enough play, so yeah, good reason to run quite a few number of them. Also, her stack ability is quite relevant against Sultai at the moment, so I might actually think we want 4 Narsets, but that's something to keep an eye on as well when we play this list. 3 Soul Shatters, something that I have been so high on, and it works really well in Esper. So when we played Grixis 2 days ago on Tuesday, Soul Shatter I was super impressed with. If you haven't seen that video, go back and check that out. There'll be a link in the description down below. But I was really impressed with this. But something I've wanted to try in Esper that we're playing today is Soul Shatter along with Absorb, because holding both of these up at instant speed is really, really efficient. We're choosing Absorb as our 3-mana counterspell, just because gaining us life I think is more relevant than scrying a lot of the time with Sinister Sabotage or cycling. But being able to hold either or is really good. In Grixis, the control list we built was pretty much tap down. On a lot of the turns we were tapping down, and that was our variation of control. Esper is a lot more hold up your mana, decide what you're going to do in your opponent's turn, outside of like a Planeswalker or two. So even with Shark Typhoon, so having the flexibility of holding up Push, Censor, Soul Shatter, Absorb, Dovin's Vetoes, or Shark Typhoons is really, really versatile, and I hope this is going to work really well with our counter magic. Then we're running 4 Wrath of Gods. In some of the other control lists, we're only running 3 board wipes, but I feel like we've gone with the full playset this time to guarantee our creature matchup, just to take them all out. We're also not running any cast outs as well, so this is just making up that bit on the slot, I think. Yeah, Wrath of God, something that's pretty interesting. Not much to say about it, just 4-mana board wipe of choice. This is what we're running. We're also running only 1 ECD. I think we're actually running the second one in the board. I think just the second one, we're not running 3. I found as the meta has been progressing a little bit, that ECD is falling off a little bit. It's still extremely powerful, don't get me wrong. We're going to run some number of these, but I felt as the meta's sort of gone on a bit, that ECD has got a little bit worse. The meta's quite aggro-y, quite fast. A lot of games, they just have 2 drops and below. So yeah, and then the Lurrus of the Dream Den. While this does hit Lurrus, it's not going to be relevant against any other card if they're running Lurrus as their companion. So yeah, don't really want that many ECDs, but normally this comes in off the board. Running 4 Teferi's this time, mainly for like card advantage, just to be able to guarantee to hit one of these as early as possible. We really want this on turn 6, turn 5 with a Fatal Push or Dovin's Veto or Censor, and turn 6 with our Absorb or Soul Shatter up, since Soul Shatter is a really good way to it's a good thing to combo with Teferi on turn 6 when you can untap your lands. But yeah, coming down and just tucking a permanent as well, very relevant. And if we need him, I haven't ultimated a Teferi in ages, but if we ever get that ultimate off and we're not going to die on the next turn, it's GG for your opponent. So Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, sort of a staple in these control lists. Then running 4 Shark Typhoons. Normally I've stuck this to 1 to 3, but I think we're going to go with a full playset today, because we're not running Dream Trawlers and other ways to close the game outside of Teferi, and we're not running Torrential Gearhulk as well. I feel like Shark Typhoon is going to really hit home, and it's going to be a really good way to close the game fast. One thing that I am considering though is making some number of cuts. Maybe we cut a Teferi, maybe we cut like the sensors off as well, and add some Torrential Gearhulks into this list, because we have quite a few instants at our disposal. Maybe we need to utilize some more, maybe replace them sensors with more Dovin's Vetoes, go up on the pushes, up on the Soul Shatters, because Torrential might be quite good with them. But I do like 4 Shark Typhoons, since you can just cycle them early, hit your land drops, get a little bit of value, use them as semi-removal, and then play them as a 6-drop late game where we need them. Going on to the mana basis, we don't have much utility in there. The main thing, they're mainly checks and shocks, but we're running 2 irrigated farmlands. There's some cycle bits as well that sort of come in instead of them hallowed fountains. But the main thing to notice is 3 Fable Passages. As I mentioned earlier, this is mainly in there just to combo a Fatal Push, and also fill our graveyard a little bit for Search Canter. So a little bit of utility there. Moving on to the sideboard, we have 2 Authority of the Consoles. This is our aggro matchup. This is going to come in against Goblins, Gruul aggro, anything where they've got a lot of hasters. They want to try and kill us in one turn. It's essentially going to buy us a turn for our board wipe, and yeah, just gain us a little bit of life as the game goes on. Hopefully buy us just 1 or 2 turns so we can take over, because normally with these aggro matchups, that's all you kind of need. And then we're running 3 Grafdigger's Cage, almost exclusively for Goblins, but it does hit like a few other bits in the meta as well. It's either this or Rest in Peace, and I've decided for Grafdigger's Cage, maybe it should be Rest in Peace. Another thing to keep an eye on while we're running this list today. Then we're running one of Moment of Craving. So I decided I want a little bit more interaction in the list, but I wasn't sure what to add. I was debating with a fourth Soul Shatter or like Eliminate or something like that, but I've decided to go with Moment of Craving purely for the life gain. The -2/-2 is going to hit like an Odonto's Vanguard, which is going to be relevant from time to time, but essentially I want this against Mono Red and Gruul, just some extra life gain, and it kills quite a few of their creatures. 3 Dovin's Vetoes, this is making up the playset, so we can have 10 counter spells after boarding against control matchups. We really want to guarantee that control matchup. There's also quite a few cards that are just dead in the control matchup. We've got like 4 Wrath of Gods, 3 Fatal Pushes, so we need stuff to bring in. So you'll see a lot of this stuff is tailored towards that. Also against Sultai Control, we definitely want to have enough stuff to counter their threats. Then we're running the second ECD, not much to say here. We're going to want this in a lot of matchups, but just moved it to the board, the second one this time, since I felt in the main it was a little bit too much. 2 Dream Trawlers for when we need extra potent threats, or we need to close the game even faster than is demanded. 2 Erebos's Intervention for aggro matchups when we need a little bit more interaction, or we need some graveyard hate against Uro, since a lot of our cards are dead against Sultai Control, so this can come in to either kill some of our opponent's Hydroid Grixis if they're really low, or we can exile Uros from the graveyard, so always relevant. And one of Heliod's Intervention to answer them pesky artifacts and enchantments that might be running around. Mono colorless, I guess, combo is a thing, and Heliod's Intervention being able to smash multiple of them is definitely something we are interested in having access to. So that was the list. That's pretty much it. It took a little bit to go over because it's a control list and there's a lot of rationale for it. Just a little disclaimer though, I am not the best control player in the world. So when you're watching this, imagine that you are probably going to pilot this list better than me, probably make a few changes, but this is my variation of Esper, and I'm actually quite happy with this. Out of all the control lists we've built, I feel like taking a mixture between Azorius and Grixis has been really good. I feel like this has got some really good tools to do quite well. So disclaimer to the side that we are quite a poor control player, but I guess you guys can be the judge for yourself. And also because the season reset recently, I'm currently playing through gold. I think I hit platinum as we go into this. So yeah, that might influence the gameplay a little bit, but we'll be back in a few weeks to revise Esper again. So change it up, maybe just play it again when we're higher up on the tier, so we'll get a better feel for it as we go on as well. So just to bear them in mind, but if you enjoy control, this will be your control fix. But yeah, that's it, me kind of ramble over. Let's jump into a few games and see how we get on. Okay, on the draw with Esper Control in Historic, and this hand looks okay. We've got all of our colours of mana, got some counter magic, some card advantage. Got to really hope that our opponent isn't fast off the bat and quick out the game. So let's keep this and kind of hope. It's sort of how it goes with these control matchups. Especially game 1. You don't know what you're against, so gotta take some risks. Looks like maybe Sultai. Golgari. Ooh, energy. Okay, energy's nice. Might just cycle this Shark Typhoon. Really want to hit land drops. I assume our opponent's going to have like a Winding Constrictor or something here. Yeah, just want to make sure we hit land drops, I think. Just, okay, maybe no Winding Constrictor. Opponent's just going to hit us. If the opponent does nothing here, we might just cycle the Shark Typhoon next round. Okay, second Long Tusk Cub. Do we hold on to the Shark Typhoon now? I don't think we do. I think finding a like removal spell like Fatal Push might be quite good. Hitting land drops is great because this Wrath's going to get even better. Opponent might have like a Thoughtseize. Well, we have a Thoughtseize now. Okay, so interesting decisions. If we choose to play Hallowed Fountain now and hold up Absorb, or play Narset, then we won't have mana to do Wrath next turn. So I think we Thoughtseize, play Irrigated Farmland, take 5 and go to 11. And then play Wrath of God next turn. So looking for like a Planeswalker here, some sort of like interaction with us. Okay, so opponent's allowing us to look. Don't think we're scared of much of these. The Hadana's Climb can come down and put like 1 counter on it, but then we can blow up their board. Maybe we're most scared of the Herdana's Climb. None of their stuff has haste. If they play Bristling Hydra next turn or Rogue Refiner, they'll just be caught up in the board wipe. And Murderous Gear Hulk's easy enough to answer. So yeah, I don't know if our opponent's going to play out the Bristling Hydra here. If they draw land, they might do. Or they're just going to play out Rogue Refiner. Our opponent evidently didn't want to play the Rogue Refiner first to put an extra counter on, get some more damage in. Let's see what they got. We're going to fall into 9 of our shock land. Okay, so took a while for our opponent to get there, but they got there in the end. And this is going to go for the Rogue Refiner. Nice choice. Okay, this is going to mean we're not going to have an answer to the Bristling Hydra, but I don't think we have a choice. We have to wipe the board. We can always Narset and then try and find another board wipe. So hopefully we draw an untapped land. Another board wipe. It's going to... I guess just take the free and cast Absorb. I guess we'll play Narset. And we'll just not tick down with her. We don't need more cards at the moment, we just need to hit lands. And if our opponent decides to extend more into the board, then the Wrath will be really good. Blooming Marsh, unfortunately, enters tapped. Glint Sleeve. So we are going to deal with a Bristling Hydra next turn. So opponent's going to get to draw an extra card. I guess they won't because of Narset. Difficult choices. I wonder if we just played Fairy tick up. Try and hit land so we can like Teferi Absorb. Another Narset. So I really want to just be hitting land drops here ideally. So opponent's going to take down Teferi, quite rightly. Okay, this is what we were waiting for, since this Hydra would be very difficult to answer, if not for the board wipe. And play the Fatal Passage out. We could hold on to Fatal Passage for Fatal Push. I think we might actually do, since we kind of want to still draw lands. That is unfortunate. So our opponent actually has Lethal on us here. Since with all of the energy they have, we need a board wipe. That shall be the only way around this Bristling Hydra. Search House Canter's not going to do it, so we're going to go digging. Oh, Soul Shatter actually does it. So we get to play Teferi, tick up, and Soul Shatter. We are also going to wait for our opponent to pump all of this energy in. Soul Shatter is such an excellent card. Opponent's going to go for lethal. Okay, they had lethal on us. Yep, resolve. They're just going to do it once, yep. Next turn, if our opponent just plays one threat, we can Soul Shatter and Absorb. So, Finland suddenly in a really good position. Just got to hold this exclusively for another hexproof threat. Let's just tick up. Let's gain some more card advantage. Okay, lands are great. So Teferi can just take a hit this turn. We could play Search for Canter, Drown Catacombs, and just pass the turn.
Yeah, I quite like that. This Search for Counter is going to flip next turn. We could play Narset, but I don't see any reason to at the moment. Maybe if they have like a Hydroid Grixis, we're going to feel bad. Verdurous Gearhulk. Is this counterable? Probably, since it's going to kill the Teferi with the counters. Opponent's going to scoop it up there. Too many turns for Teferi. Narset's going to come down and completely take over. Okay, what do we want against this? I don't really know. Okay, so that Bristling Hydra is an issue. We do have like 7 answers to it though, so I don't know how much we need to really worry about it. I think like ECD is going to be okay. Opponent's got like a lot of really good threats. I wonder if Dream Trawler is going to be good as well. Maybe we don't want to bring in too much of that. Maybe Doben's Veto can go. They had Tadana's Climb, but mainly most of their stuff is creature-based. Okay, opponent's going first, and this hand looks a little bit slow, but hopefully we draw something. We have lands, we have our payoffs. Happy to just throw a Narset out there with an Elspeth Conquers Death. Probably want 5th land, so we're just going to play this out. Nice Long Tusk Cup. Really want to push for this. Deck, would you like to provide a push off the top? No. Okay, I guess we'll just play tapped. Set up for being able to Narset next turn. Hopefully it buys us a little bit of time. I'm always going to throw Narset out there as like a look at this opponent, want to save me 5 life. And then if they do, we've got obviously ECD coming in later on. Oh, nice. They're going for the long game. Really good ECD target. Opponent's going to smack us a little bit. Yeah, I like just Narsetting here. Not going to tick down with her. Currently means opponent has to hit her twice, unless they can gain some energy here. Opponent can gain some energy. Oh, Scavenging Ooze, nice. I think we're going to Narset first to see if we can find a push. Did not find a push, but we did find a Teferi. Probably just going to take that Teferi. I think I like just have a look what our opponent's doing. Yeah, we'll take that Long Tusk Cub. Problem is, ECD doesn't get these 2 drops. It gets this Life Colossus Beastery, but this is not the issue at the moment. Probably just going to be like Teferi Tuck, Teferi Tuck. Not going to lie, we are in a little bit of trouble here. Really like to find a Wrath of God. Because I think we're just dead next turn. Yeah, pretty dead next turn. Need to find a... Yeah, kind of need a board wipe off the top. No board wipe. We can make a 2-2. And I guess that keeps us alive for 1 turn. I guess we can make a 1-1 and see if we top deck a Fatal Push. Since 1-1 and 2-2 doesn't really matter. So the opponent's going to attack. Ah, playing around Settle the Wreckage. I like it. Yeah, let's leave up the correct mana. No Fatal Push. Guess we still get to survive since our opponent played around Settle. Opponent's going to play more out though, so yeah, it's board wipe or bust. Opponent is convinced we don't have the board wipe, and they would be correct. Let's go on to game 3. Do we want to sideboard any differently? Like, these long tusk cubs are actually an issue, but I don't think that Moment of Craving is going to be too good. Maybe we want like Erebos' Intervention. Maybe that's like the case. Like, Dream Trawler's not blocking very well. I don't see Heliod's Intervention. We saw Lifecraft's Beastery there, but the ECDs can get them. Teferis can tuck it. It's fine. Moment of Craving. The only thing I'm thinking is Erebos' Intervention, but I don't know if that's digging too deep. What do we take out? Maybe we do bring these in. Give them a try. Maybe like cut the sensor. And then we can kill a long tusk cub on turn 3. Okay, Esper Control on the play. And this hand looks really good. We're going to keep this. We need to find another white source for these rafts, but once we get there, they should all be good. See if our opponent has like a Thoughtseize to take away our push here. No Thoughtseize. We're going to save the Shark Typhoon for when we can cycle it for some more value. Nice. We are going to not even hesitate to kill this. Just take away our opponent's turn 2 play. So, might just cycle... I think we're going to hold on to Shark Typhoon, actually. We might cycle it. See what our opponent does. Depends if we care at all between a 1-1 and a 2-2. Like, if our opponent like Rogue Refiners here, then we probably want to save this. Since we want to trade. If they Scavenging Ooze, we'll probably just cycle it. If they Long Tusk Cub, we'll cycle it. We'll see what our opponent's up to. But I like this hand. If our opponent can't take away this Teferi, then I think we're looking in a good position. Looks like our opponent's about to skip through their turn, though, so... Rather unfortunate there. And I think we're just going to hold this since our opponent did put us under any pressure. And yeah, let's just play out Search for Scanter. See if our opponent does have a turn 3/4 play. Or if they're just going to skip through again. I think we had a pretty good hand against what our opponent's doing. Can wipe away the board multiple times. Had some value of Shark Typhoon, Teferi, Search for Scanter. Gonna probably not be too long before we take over. Opponent's laying their third land. Gonna Thoughtseize us. Interesting what you take here. Take Teferi, sure. I think we have to graveyard this Teferi since we need a land before we can do it. I guess we could Shark Typhoon and have it for next turn. Yeah, we'll library it. We kind of want to hit it. If our opponent's taking Teferi from our hand, then they probably... Do we Shark Typhoon now? Just to hit land drop? Because we're not blocking. We get punished if it's like irrigated farmland, but apart from that, we're fine. I'd rather represent like a counter spell or removal spell, but we're not blocking here. See what our opponent's got. Glint Sleeve. Maybe we're just like board wiping here actually, so maybe we just don't cycle the Shark Typhoon. Feels bad because we just like waited, but I think it's better to just wait. We're going to keep that. Our opponent knows we have the double board wipe, so they're probably trying to make us play into it. Oh, Vivian, nice. But Teferi next turn, just tuck Vivian, looks good. Yeah, I think this looks okay. How many cards do we have in graveyard? 3. Maybe we start bidding them actually. We're just gonna tuck this Vivian, I think. Force our opponent to answer the Teferi. So it looks like our opponent doesn't have like a real answer to it. I think we're going to keep another board wipe. Board wipes are great in this matchup. Okay, that's nice. So opponent's probably just going to exile a load of our cards anyway. May as well use the untap. So we'll just push this now. Opponent's going to probably like exile our great... Okay, maybe they have something here. I assume they just exile our graveyard in response in case we get an ECD. And to stop the Search Fast counter flipping. Yeah, that's fine. Bristling Hydra, not that great against Soul Shatter. Or Double Wrath of God. Which our opponent knows we have one. So we're cycling for 3. And try and put our opponent under a bit of a clock here. Try and hit maybe like another... Okay. Don't think we need Thoughtseize, rather transform the Search Rise Canter. Okay, so this is kind of perfect now.
Keep up the pace.
So just gonna not waste any time, Soul Shatter here. Get to hold up Absorb, and that might be game, yeah. Having an active Search Rise Canter, removing your opponent's threat, and having an answer to their next threat. Exactly what Control wants to do. Okay, Esper Control on the draw in Historic, and I think this hand's okay. Get to go turn 1 Thoughtseize, like turn 2 Fatal Passage, and then Shark Typhoon. Need to find our second white source. We can get white source through Fatal Passage, but... Okay, opponent's on like Gruul. What's this? Oh, it's just cycling land. Thought it was a pathway. Okay, so Goblins. So we can take away 2 of their threats. Maybe we just take away the 2 Matrons. Interesting. I don't think we're taking away the Wily Goblin. Maybe we take away the Matron and then take away the other one. Yeah, I can see that. Opponent will have like a hasty War Chief. So we have our sideboard answers to Goblins. We have like counter magic and that, so we have some bits. Yeah, take away this one. So probably, yeah, opponent gets hasty here. Gonna take 3. And just kind of hoping to draw lands here. Gonna shock here. We put ourselves closer to death, but we get to Shark Typhoon and hold up Absorb. Don't think we absorb this. Maybe we absorb this. Doesn't really feel good enough. Probably just gonna Shark Typhoon here for 1. Just try and hit a board wipe. Just gonna trade off for one of these. So opponent can Mux us next turn. Yeah, I think we go for it. If our opponent has it, they have it. They'll have 2 cards. 1 card. Okay, so now I think we're in an okay position. Got Counterspell up, removal, Shark Typhoon, board wipes. Just being able to dodge. I think we're just going to allow this to go through. Not too worried about a Wily Goblin. Just going to cycle, try and hit lands. Just going to pass the turn here, I think. Sit back. to make our opponent waste their whole turn. Conspicuous Snoop. Is that worth countering? It's going to provide our opponent quite a bit of card advantage. Probably. So I really wanted to hit land there so we could have cast this Shark Typhoon. But we'll have to do Krenko. Doesn't have haste though, so we're all good. So I'm just going to make a 3/3 here and try and put our opponent under some pressure. And then outside of a Muxus, we might be okay. Opponent's on a pretty quick clock here. So Absorb off the top is probably game. Not quite. But our opponent does have a few draws. No. So I guess it doesn't matter. We'll just attack for free and hold back. And then finish it up next time. Okay, good game. Couldn't find something off the top, I think. So it's definitely right to counter that Conspicuous Snoop. Hindsight's 2020. I think we're going to want our authorities here. We're going to want our Graph Digger's Cage. Just buy us loads of time. Don't think we want Censors since quite difficult to use since our opponent normally has a bit of spare mana. I don't think this is the matchup for Soul Shatter. ECD seems okay, not at its best, but I think we just want loads of low mana interaction. Dovin's Veto seems awful in this matchup. Maybe we'd want Dream Trawlers as like a way to close the game really quickly. I can see that. And maybe just like cut the CD or cut a Narset. I guess Narset can dig us towards our answers that we want to find. So maybe just cut the ECD. Since it doesn't have that many good targets. We have our board wipe still, have our pushes. Yeah, I guess we're just taking out most of our removal, late game removal. I think that's fine. Okay, game 2 against Goblins, and I think we're going to keep this. Authority is going to slow our opponent down quite a bit, hopefully draw us into something relevant. Going to buy ourselves quite a bit of time. Second Fairy, definitely not what we wanted to see. By far one of our worst draws. Opponent has a cycling land. First Goblins list I've seen running cycling. Or Shatter Skull smashing. So we're just going to get this Authority down. Oh, okay, so this is a very different Goblins list. All our Goblins cost less now, and then they get to maybe draw a card if the top card's a Goblin. Fatal Push was a nice pickup. Yeah, enters that. Fortunately, the Phyrexian... Okay, they have a Ringleader, that's fine. Opponent gets to draw a load of Goblins, so they get one Chieftain. So I need to trigger a Revolt here for these to be able to work. But I think it's going to work out. Have to decide how we want to do this. Because we can Shark Typhoon for one, like block something, and then push. Which might be correct. See what our opponent's got. They're not playing Chieftain main phase. I think I'd rather just get the extra value and just take the damage here. And cycle Shark Typhoon. Oh, nice. Okay, so opponent didn't want to play a Chieftain off the top from that. This generates some mana. So gonna cycle for 2. This is very different Goblins list to what I've normally played. Okay, so I think what we can do here is play Teferi, tick up, and then we can block something and then Fatal Push the other thing if we want to. And if our opponent decides to down tick on Chandra to get through, then we'll have double Fatal Push available. Even if our opponent plays double Chieftain, we'll still have a blocker, so we'll be on... Yeah, we'll still have a blocker, so Teferi will just take 4. And I think our opponent's got their card advantage going. We'd like to get ours going as well. Grafdigger's Cage is nice. So we're just going to pass a turn here. So next turn we can stop Muxus permanently. Unless our opponent has like an Abrade. Yeah, opponent might go for the down tick and then the... Nope. Opponent does not want to do that. Yep. So opponent's getting like a massive cost reduction on their Goblins at the moment. Okay, they do have the Muxus. Let's see. All of them enter tapped, fortunately. Gain a little bit of life. So we need to find a board wipe, or we're done. Really wish I'd played the cage last turn now. So we're taking... If we block here and then like push Krenko, are we actually getting anywhere? Like, I don't know. Like, probably doesn't matter. But if our out is board wipe, then I guess we just want to defend Teferi anyway. I guess we untapped incorrect lands to double Fatal Push, but I think we're just trying to find a board wipe here, otherwise we're dead either way. So if we push Krenko, we can then push like Snoop, and yeah, this is... So we're taking like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, we're like way dead. So just going to look for, I think, board wipe. Wow, off the top. Nice. So what do we do here? We tuck Chandra, board wipe, cage. So Authority of the Console's doing work there. And our opponent can't get any hasty threats on, and we're not going to be pushing, so we'll just Thoughtseize, I guess. Conspicuous Snoop feels like the best thing to take. Matreon feels okay, they can go get a Krenko. Because Conspicuous Snoop they're going to have anyway. Maybe we take one of them. Yeah, we'll take Matreon. I don't know which one's correct. Still doesn't feel particularly good. Our opponent's going to outgrind us, I think, with this Herald Horn. Fortunately, this Authority, though, is buying us tons of time. I think our opponent's main problem at the moment is hitting land drops.
Keep up the pace.
So we shall cycle. Probably could have left up double white in case we draw Wrath of God and want to play it. Is this draw? No, put into your hand. Shark Typhoon. So we could like cycle Shark Typhoon for 1 here, block, and then Fatal Push the other target. Opponent's just going to tap down for Chandra. Maybe add some red mana here. No. So let's just see what our opponent does. Opponent's just sending 1 at Teferi. Let me just push this. And then I think we're just going to play out the Shark Typhoon as a way to close the game pretty quick. This Authority of the Consuls, though, has done work. I guess we may as well take down Narset. I think Absorb is fine. So we do have to find an answer to Chandra. Like, a Teferi can answer it. I guess our Sharks can also answer it. So opponents had no problem with like card advantage this game. They've drawn a lot more cards than us. But unfortunately, they're struggling to like deal damage. Authority and Cage has bought us so much time. I think we're going to counter this just so we can get a free drop as well to block this Chieftain. Matron. I don't know what our opponent goes to get here. Muxus. Muxus is fine. Okay, so yeah, let's repeat. Double Shark Typhoon. I mean, I can't really say no to double Shark Typhoon. That should close the game quite quickly. I guess a shock in here. Do we need to hit Chandra? No, probably not. I'd rather just defend our Planeswalkers this turn. Kill Chandra next turn. We'll hit her down. She then can't kill our Shark. Not that it really matters here. I think we're going to take over the game from here. Double Shark Typhoon against Goblins. Feels like it's going to be a bit too much for them to answer. No joke though, this has been really interesting to play against this variant of Goblins with like Herald's Horn and Chandra. I imagine Herald's Horn came in out of the board. I'm not sure about Chandra. Our opponent might be like me and just loves Torture Defiance. Okay, Shatter Skull Smashing for all of our opponent's mana. Yeah, sorry opponent. I think this might be the straw that broke the camel's back, yeah. Okay, Esper Control on the draw, and this hand looks okay. We don't get to turn 1 Four.Vs, but we do get to turn 2 Four.Vs, so probably going to keep. And this Fatal Passage is going to be good if we draw a Fatal Push. Our opponent has to turn 1 Four.Vs. Yeah, they do. If our opponent is observant, they'll notice that we can't turn 1 Four.Vs. So if they have 2 of them, they might want to take ours away. Oh, looks like we drew land, so we'll have a look. Oh. This is some nice art, but our opponent's on like Grixis. Yeah, Grixis. It's going to take that. Probably going to cycle this irrigated farmland now. Opponent's shocking. I guess that's just our hold up disruption. Yeah, I think stopping Search Cancer is quite good. So Wrath of God doesn't feel that good in this matchup. This feels like it's sort of balanced at the moment. We both haven't got very many cards in hand, sort of completely relying on top decks. Opponent's just ahead of the curve. But Esper versus Grixis will be interesting to see. I guess we'll play out so our opponent doesn't know as much information. And we're probably just going to Shark Typhoon here. Our opponent's like very likely to have a removal spell for this. And it's not really even getting ahead on card advantage since they don't really care about the removal spell in this matchup. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, opponent's probably going to do the smart thing here and not down tick. They haven't got any blue mana left open though, so no counter spells for them. I guess we've got double white in hand, but we don't really need double white apart from ECD. So I feel like Teferi uptick even though we can't draw is correct, or maybe Teferi downtick actually. Yeah, let's go Teferi downtick. I wanted to hold up Censor as well, but we couldn't kill the Narset next turn anyway with the Shark, so it'd be a waste of like 2 turns. See if our opponent has like a Nico Bolas here. Gonna match our 5 mana Planeswalker. So we played Grixis on the channel as the last control list we played, and I was really impressed with it. Mainly I was impressed with the tools that Black brought to offer. So it'll be interesting to see how these pair up. Yeah, opponent probably did the correct thing playing this out now. I feel like now we have an active Teferi, we're definitely favoured. Especially since our opponent doesn't have an answer to it. I don't think we Four.Vs. Maybe like Four.Vs next turn. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's going to stop us putting pressure on their Narset, but should be okay. See if our opponent can like draw an extra card here. We might save this Four.Vs for when our opponent Narsets next turn. I think I guess we've got Absorbs and that. We can find a better counterspell. Or we could draw pretty dead cards. I guess Search Rescant is okay. I guess we'll clear the way first. Since I'd rather not get our Search Rescant countered. Oh, are they missing black? They're missing a black source. So that's the problem with Nico Bolas considered Teferi. Much easier to cast. And Search Rescant is going to be flipping next turn. So I do appreciate that we got a little bit lucky in this game in the sense that we top decked a Dovin's Veto right before our opponent had the Search Rescanter. Opponent has Narset, so they're going to go digging. But our Search Rescanter is going to hopefully take over here once this flips. Yeah, opponent found an answer. No additional black source though. They'll have to wait till next turn. Or they just need 1 more mana. We have a basic. Could just keep this actually. Let's just activate Search Rescanter. Nothing. So I think we're going to Four.Vs this up, and we're going to tick up Teferi, even though we know that we can't draw, just because we get an extra Search Rescanter trigger. So we can sort of work around our opponent's Narset there. But yeah, Grixis, what do we want to do? Elspeth Conquers Death is like our best tool against Grixis. Dovin's Veto's definitely in, and I think the Dream Trawlers are going to be good as well. The Hexproof on them seems good. Probably take out these Wrath of Gods. Fatal pushes don't seem great. I think that's it. That's all we want. If our opponent has like a Nico Bolas the Ravager, maybe we want like another board wipe, but our Dream Trawlers are going to be good. I think this is just how we want to run it. We need to add one card in, so we'll see what we can add. Maybe it's just a Erebos's Intervention. Maybe our opponent's like running Champion of Wits. We were running Champion of Wits in our Grixis list, and this can catch him off guard, but I don't think anything else is going to be worthwhile. Okay, opponent gets to go first against Grixis Control, and this hand looks okay. If they Thoughtseize us, they probably take one of our powerful cards, but if not, we have an answer to something they're doing. We'll see what our first draw is, but we might just cycle this Irrigate Farmland. Opponent probably has the Thoughtseize here, yep. ECD can get back this Dream Trawler eventually, and unless our opponent's running in the board Feed the Swarm, then they're not going to be able to answer an ECD. Yeah, probably just going to cycle this Irrigate Farmland. Cycle on 2, maybe cycle on 3. Absorb is quite nice, so probably just play out the planes. Keep information hidden and then just play Drown Catacomb next turn. Opponent like, oh, doesn't have an R set. Okay, feels good. We get our counter spell up. See what our opponent's got. Interplane a Beacon, maybe something we could have run in our Grixis list. I don't know if we're running enough Planeswalkers to really make it worthwhile. I think we're going to hold on the Shark Typhoon for a little bit. 3 Fable Passages is pushing it a little bit. Oh, they got the Nico Bolas. I think we just counter this. I think it makes sense. Our opponent gets to tick up. We could like exile a card, and then I guess we could soul. Yeah, maybe actually we'll just let him have it. Yeah, that's fine. We'll lose a land out of our hand. Opponent's like a little bit of, ahead on card advantage, but I think just getting to keep our Absorb is worth more. We also could have just left it and like ECD'd next turn if we wanted to. I think we're going to play out this Fable Passage before we draw a basic. So our opponent's got the Ravager. I think we're going to counter that. Looks like our opponent doesn't even have a counter spell. Gonna fetch since we don't want to draw more lands at this point. Go get blue source. Well, I mean, let's see if our opponent's got a counter spell. They do not. Shark Typhoon is going to be difficult for our opponent to answer. We have a card to get rid of if they Nico Bolas. And then ECD will hopefully pull us in the lead, getting back this Dream Trawler. And making a 5/5 Shark. So I feel good now we got this down. Probably just going to... let's cycle. So, I don't know. Our opponent's got like 3 more cards than us, and one of ours is dead, but I feel okay. So we elected not to run Nico Bolas the Ravager in our Grixis list. It's really good value, but I don't know. Feels a bit plain. I guess our opponent gets to blow up our Shark Typhoon here. That was definitely a reason to hold on to the sensor. So we're gonna waste no time and just get rid of this. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have like back-to-back Ugins. Because back-to-back Ugins would be pretty devastating. No second Ugin. Opponent's going to get to flip Search for Scanter eventually, not quite yet. So yeah, definitely should have held on to this sensor. I was not thinking about Ugin. Even though we took it game 1, so probably should have been thinking about Ugin. Yeah, we'll get back the Dream Trawler. So opponent's going to need like an Ugin or like a Soul Shatter or something. Or Cling to Dust, nice. So suddenly not feeling so great about our position. I think we'll hold these. If our opponent has a Thoughtseize, maybe make him use it. So we're just in like top deck mode, and so's our opponent, it looks like, but they have a active Search Canter. Oh, Scarab God. So they can get back the Ravager here. So we're just going to activate, get our value. Sensor. So I said about not cycling Sensor before, but we're going to cycle it now. So unfortunately, I think Narset's going to die here, and our opponent's probably going to take over. They get back Nicol Bolas. We discard our Isolated Chapel. Our opponent can't flip this Nicol Bolas though, which is important to mention. And they're it's very loud. And the Search Canter is getting less cards in the graveyard. So I think ultimately we made a mistake by not holding up the Sensor. Not going to play around Settle. No fear. So probably like an ECD off the top for this Scarab God. Yeah, I can't allow our opponent to do that. I think we have to like Shark Typhoon here. I mean, we could cast it, but I think we need to cycle it. And make a 6/6. Block the Scarab God, or we can make a 5/5 and block the Nicol Bolas. I guess we'll make a 5/5 and just block Nicol Bolas. Could have played out the Shark Typhoon, but I really think we need to get the added value here. Maybe we'll make a 6/6. See if our opponent has like the a removal spell for this shark. So they might do. Yep. So taking 9 here. We get to draw an extra card though. Just a land. Dream Trawler can buy us 1 turn. If our opponent has nothing. If our opponent has a removal spell here, sort of any sort of interaction, we're pretty dead. And if they can kill this Dream Trawler, yeah, we're definitely dead, because they can reanimate the Dream Trawler. They also have an active Search for Scanter, so yeah, this is gonna be quite unfortunate here. So I think we just take this. So our opponent's got. Teferi's okay. So if we attack, we can attack for 5. We can basically gain back the life of the Nicol Bolas. I think we have to attack. But I think we're Teferi tucking this Scarab God. Since with their Search for Canter, they won't be able to get it back since it's non-creatures. We're going to lose our Teferi, unfortunately. No, opponent! Yeah, so that's game. Oh, fortunate to the negate. We were hanging on by a thread anyway. If our opponent didn't have that, they might have had a chance. So, Erebos' intervention looks better now that we've seen the Scarab God from our opponent, but I don't think we need anything else. I think it looks good. Just got a little bit screwed to not holding up the sensor for the Ugin. Okay, on the play against Grixis, and this hand looks okay. Need to draw some lands, but turn 2 Dovin's Veto should be okay. Opponent's taking a mulligan. Four.Vs is going to be quite painful if our opponent goes for that. Like, okay, they don't have it. I was going to say, it's quite likely they do have a Four.Vs, but opponents always seem to have it. To be fair, I seem to have it quite a lot as well. So, probably just going to shock and not play Narset into a negate. We're just going to cycle the Shark Typhoon, I think. Okay, opponent wants to play out the Narset. I think we're going to go for the tempo here and play out our own Narset. And then if our opponent answers it, we have like Teferi next turn. I think I like Veto. If our opponent has like a Narset next turn, then we're going to regret this. No, I guess we won't regret this, so we're fine. If our opponent just kills our Narset here, then we get to Teferi with Veto up, which is going to be quite good. Surprised our opponent just risked it there. So we're just going to activate again, get some value. ECD or Four.Vs. I think I prefer Four.Vs. Let's take away maybe a Nico Bolas. Opponent's going to negate. I think that's fine. Not going to fight over that. I shall fight over the thing that you cast. So hopefully our opponent like goes to tap down here and feels some pressure. If they don't, then we're just going to cycle the Shark Typhoon. Our opponent has Nico Bolas mana. Do we just make them take the counterspell here? But they get to look at the rest of our hand, I guess. I guess we make them take the counterspell, then at least we get to Shark Typhoon. If we counterspell there, then we can't Shark Typhoon this turn. Opponent's giving us the little crying face. Should we give them one back? Little, like, love heart? Opponent takes one of our Teferis. No, opponent! Okay, let's make a 2-2. So, still need one more mana for Teferi. We're just going to attack here, I think, and just cycle a Shark Typhoon again. I think it'd be foolish to tap out. And if this Search Res Canter ever gets close to flipping, we have the Erebos' intervention to slow it down. But yeah, we're going to put our opponent under quite a bit of pressure here if they decide just to do nothing. Gonna hopefully make them flinch, because this is a staring competition at the moment. And, okay, opponent's gonna push. I was gonna say, we might be getting to a point where we just use the Dovin's Veto to protect our sharks. I think we're waiting. I guess maybe our opponent's going to be too slow with Search for Escanter. Maybe we should just Dream Trawler or Teferi. We have a counterspell. Our opponent counterspells, we counterspell back, then they flip their Search for Escanter. Then at least we get to Dream Trawler next turn. Or do we just take our time? I guess let's just pass. We can hold up Veto and Erebos' Intervention. Okay, so yeah, they're gonna get to kill Narset here, but we're gonna Erebos' Intervention. I guess for 4. Is that right? And we get to exile 8 cards. Yeah, I guess for 4. And just put this Search Fast Canter very far away from flipping.
This was overwhelming.
And yeah, next turn they get to kill our Narset here, but next turn we get to like Teferi, Veto. If we draw land, we could Dream Trawler Veto. Got quite a few things we can do. Yeah, opponent gets to kill Narset here. That is unfortunate.
I shall miss your company.
But yeah, I think now is Teferi time. Looks like our opponent would agree. And I think since we have Dream Trawler and we just drew Shark Typhoon, I think we're going to allow our opponent to just hit Teferi if they want to here. I think we don't mind, actually. Since our opponent's on 10 life, and Grixis not known for its life gain. Maybe after boarding against aggro, they have quite a bit of life gain, but control, I wouldn't imagine they're bringing in much of that. So I'd imagine whatever damage we deal to them is semi-permanent. Yeah, opponent, that's fine. We're just going to take over here with our Teferi, I think. Yeah, that's fine. We will attempt to stop this. If you have a second counter spell, then you may go for it. Unlikely that opponent does, since they probably would have just countered the Teferi. So let's draw. So this Search Fast Canter is just irrelevant now, I think. So since we don't have a counter spell, we're just going to keep adding pressure to the board. It sort of defends our Teferi at the same time. And yeah, if our opponent has an Ugin, we feel real bad. I guess our opponent would need to -6, and we would get to kill it with a Shark Typhoon, or a Soul Shatter, I guess. So opponent's just deciding if they'd like to bin their Search Fast Canter card. But they're in a little bit of trouble now. I think we maneuvered this okay. I don't know if red or white is better in this matchup. I feel like the white's better. Oh, so we're just going to cycle here, I guess, and make a 2/2. We lose our Soul Shatter and our entire graveyard. But I'd rather have the 2/2. So we do just have lethal on board. Our opponent fought the good fight. But we're just going to go for lethal. Good game. Opponent saw it through to the end as well, which is nice. Not every opponent does that. Okay, Esper Control in Historic Best of 3, and this is a tough one. Mulligan or keep? I think I'm going to have to err on the side of mulliganing. 2 Teferis isn't great. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. And put Hallowed Fountain at the bottom. Oh, life gain? Life gain, nice. I love the life gain battle. Have a look what our opponent's got going on. Oh, Lurrus or Daxos. I think we just take the Daxos and then we take the Lurrus next turn. And Daxos will gain a bit of life for this Sarah Ascendant. Oh. Maybe a little bit punished. Maybe should have taken that and then next turn taken something else, but oh well. So not playing Absorb on curve. Probably just playing tap land and cycling. So this is 30 life. So probably just playing tap land here. Cycle. So board wipes are our best friend. Early removal is going to be our best friend. We got a lot of good tools for this matchup, so gonna hope to pull it through. Opponent's gonna make this Primate massive, so you probably just have like 2 draws here. Gotta find something relevant. Yep. Nope. Nope. Well, I mean at least the Fatal Push is a draw. So we get to Fatal Push and counter here. And I think we're definitely Fatal Pushing this Ajani's Primate. So we get to buy ourselves like a turn or 2. Yes. I guess we'll just do it now to save ourselves the triggers. I didn't counter the Ajani's Primate since we need a board wipe anyway. Yeah, we're pretty dead. Even if we had have countered this, we'd still be taking lethal. Yes, pretty much. Right. Life gain. What do we want? Probably Veto's not great. Erebos Intervention. Moment of Craving might be okay. And we haven't really got too much more for this matchup. I'll keep in an ECD. Thoughtseize, the rest is... Maybe we'll cut this one ECD. I guess we have no answer to Daxos. Do we need an answer to Daxos is the important bit. I don't think so. If we can just keep the creatures under control, then Daxos should not be an issue. I mean, we'll cut one counter spell. I don't know how relevant that's going to be. I think I'd rather have the Moment of Craving. And, Dream Trawlers might be a shout as well, but our opponent's creatures get pretty big pretty fast. Okay, on the play against mono white lifelink, life gain, and yeah, this is pretty good. We're going to keep this. Got a board wipe, Thoughtseize. It's actually a pretty perfect hand. What you got, opponent? Let's take a look at the goodies. Oh, probably taking this Sorcerer Spyglass. I would not like you shutting down my Teferi. Alseid off the top. Nice. So, Ajani's like a little bit of an issue. Since it makes Pride Mates. Opponent's getting some pretty good top decks here. They get to curve completely out now. So we're probably like board wiping and then soul shattering. Take it like a little bit here. Opponent chose not to play that out. Scared of the board wipe. I think we like steal board wipe here. So if our opponent's not going to board wipe, they're not going to board wipe. Interesting. So if we board wipe here, our opponent's likely to just go Ajani next turn. In which case we can soul shatter. And then if they play like a single threat, like Linden, then we can Teferi Tuck, and then we're in a pretty good position from there. But if our opponent goes Linden into something else, then we're in a little bit of trouble. And I don't really want to just board wipe these two. I might play Irrigated Farmland. I think I may play land past turn and try and soul shatter. If our opponent plays that, if our opponent does nothing, no, we'll go for the other play. I think this is difficult. Our opponent's obviously playing around the board wipe, but it forces our opponent to put some more pressure into play. So they lay Ajani here. I guess I didn't actually calculate for the Pridemate token when we come down and tuck with the Teferi. I guess that's okay. Valia is going to make our Teferi cost 1 more next turn, but I think we have to take Linden. It's fine. So fall to 18 here. Opponent plays the Thalia and the Serra Ascendant. So we make our opponent like swing everything at Teferi here. And just draw an extra card. Kind of need to find a board wipe or we're kind of done for here. Oh, Erebos's intervention. This is permanently. That's unfortunate. Otherwise, we could have killed one of these and survived. But Erebos's intervention going to gain us quite a bit of life. No, opponent's taxing us out the game. So Teferi dies here. So I think we just have to play Erebos's intervention for free, killing the Ajani. We could do Erebos's intervention for 1 and then play Searcher Azcanta. And then we'll be taking 4 next turn, and we have 2 draws with Searcher Azcanta to find something. We haven't gone past any Fatal Pushes yet. If we Erebos's intervention for 3, we go up to 11, and then we take 3. I think it works out better to Erebos's intervention. It takes some more pressure off the board. Gains us a little bit of life, and our Searcher Azcanta is still going to flip next turn. They may select Azcanta the Sunken Ruin, which I think makes some sense. It's either that or you anticipate another Teferi. I think you go Azcanta here. In which case we'll just leave it as like a scrying machine. But we're taking 3 a turn. And our instant sorceries artifacts cost more. They're going to go to Teferi. They're not going with the immediate threat of Azcanta. So we have to find something relevant. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have anything like good here. We need them to skip a little bit. Speak of the Heavens is going to be a problem. Going to need to find a board wipe, I think. Yeah, definitely going to need to find a board wipe. Oh! Opponent! Okay, suddenly I think we are in this. Johnny's Primate is good. I think we're going to activate this now. So opponent doesn't have hand hate. We don't really get punished. Do we take the Wrath? I guess we can Shark Typhoon for free. Yeah, I think we do that actually. We can just cycle the Shark Typhoon here. Unless our opponent can gain more than 1 life gain trigger this turn, then we get to eat the Ajani's Primate. Okay, that's fine. So Ajani's Primate can't attack here. We're still going to cycle though to hold this back. Oh, coming back from the brink. Let's do it. Yeah, I think another Shark Typhoon's fine. I think we play out the Shark Typhoon. Our opponent has a Dawn of Hope, so they get to make tokens, but now we're making tokens. So we take a turn off, but we get a pretty big investment. Just needs a few turns to pay off. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have like any enchantment removal. They're definitely in the colours for it. But we're drawing essentially like 2 cards a turn. Okay, so we can't use Teferi, but we can still use it for a... Do we take another Shark Typhoon? Maybe. I think we can start... Do we care about Dovin? Maybe. So Teferi like won't do anything with Sorcerer's Spyglass. But oh no. We're like almost dead. We have to block the Ajani's Pridemate here, but oh, maybe attacking Dovin last turn was not correct. So we really need to find like a Fatal Push. So block here, take 2. We don't lose our Shark. Gonna go dig him. Fatal Push is great. So we can still play Teferi, make 2 5/5s. Kill Dovin. And yeah, should be okay from here. We get 2 1/1s. Get to kill the Ajani's Pridemate. This Dawn of Hope might be a little bit difficult to beat, but hopefully we're just going to take over of Azcanta and Shark Typhoons. I think Azcanta flipping was the part of this game. I really think our opponent should have named that with Sorcerer's Spyglass. Okay, Speaker. So let's see how our opponent attacks, because I'm not sure what we kill here. Since Speaker is definitely an issue. I guess they can make 4/4 angels, but we have like pretty big sharks. I don't know how good this is, because they only get to kill 1 of our sharks. So I think we just Fatal Push this Speaker. Maybe we Fatal Push the Ajani's Pridemate. I guess we're going to lower our opponent's life here, so it doesn't matter. Yep, opponent gets an extra trigger. I guess they're just ordering them. Absorb feels good. And the army of sharks shall take over now. Moment of Craving's fine. And yeah, let's start smacking our opponent, I think. 10, 16, could hit him for 19. I don't think it matters. We'll just leave back some blockers. But our opponent is not activating the Speaker anymore. And Moment of Craving can make 2 sharks at instant speed, kill one of our opponent's creatures or shrink it down. Yeah, and that's probably game there. So yeah, that was really close. We came pretty close to the brink of death there. I think there was a bit of a dodgy play with our earlier with the Ajani's Pride Mate and the Ajani's Strength of the Pride. Navigating around that situation, we had a pretty lucky top deck of our board wipe. How many board wipes have we been through now? 3, 2. Opponent's just deciding what they'd like to do. But I assume they're deciding whether they can break through this. But I think we'll just have lethal in the air next turn. So opponent just like desperation swing here. Yep. I know my opponent does that. Maybe they had a challenge to complete on arena where they need to attack with a certain amount of things. So we could bring in Heliod's Intervention. Could gain us a little bit of life. Answer our opponent's Sorcerer's Spyglass. Maybe. Is there anything we want to cut? I think we were struggling to make cuts anyway. Maybe we could just cut like a Censor to bring it in. Since like Daxos is an enchantment as well, so like it's still going to hit on other little bits as well. So maybe we do keep it. Okay, this hand looks pretty outstanding against mono white. Gonna get to Fatal Push something, kill something else, and some card advantage with Narset. We're gonna hopefully set up for this Pride Mate. Not gonna waste any time at all. Okay, Thalia's a little bit more annoying. We'll take 2. Soul Warden. And Pride Mate. So I think we still just Pride Mate, kill the Pride Mate. It's just the bigger threat overall. Yeah, we can still do something next turn. So we can Shark Typhoon if our opponent decides to attack with the Soul Warden here. And we really just want to hit our land drop for this Wrath of God. See if our opponent goes for it. Yeah, we're gonna cycle this. Mainly just we want to hit our land drops. We have 3 more in the list. We have Teferi's ways of taking over. It's not an issue. Just need to survive the early onslaught. Yep. And just going to hold up Counterspell here in case our opponent has a Planeswalker or a Soul Shatter. Yeah, and that was a pretty good Counterspell. Just deciding if Soul Shatter would be better, but I think we're going to hold on to that. We don't actually have an answer to Heliod since we boarded out our ECDs. Fortunately, we run all the basics, so we can go get this Plains. I think I'm happy to just get my 2-for-1 here. If our opponent decides to pour back out onto the board, we'll just go with another board wipe. I think I am just happy to board wipe again. These are both really potent threats. And if our opponent has a single threat again... Oh, Sorcerer's Spyglass. I'm going to name Narset here. Our opponent's going to get to see our hand, more importantly, which... There are some situations in Magic where you don't mind your opponent seeing your hand because they've got to play through double Counterspell and Soul Shatter. And I think you got to name Narset here. So we could shock, play out the Narset, and then still hold up Absorb for when we find an answer to the Sorcerer's Spyglass, but there's no reason to take the 2 life. We'll get the Narset down in our own time. But we pretty much have a pin on this now. And Teferi's pretty good. Teferi's hopefully just going to lock this away now. Yeah, opponent's going to scoop it up. I think difficult decision with the Sorcerer's Spyglass. Once was a really good bit of sideboard hate, but now... I don't know, difficult decisions to make. Okay, we get to go first, and we got to kind of keep this. We have land spells. Hopefully the board wipes are relevant, and we get to look at our opponent's hand. So we're going to know if we're screwed from the first play of this game. Oh my god. Yeah, we might be screwed. Gonna playing against Ramp. I mean, it will just take the Heroic Intervention. Since we have a board wipe, they'll mop up this land or else eventually. But Heroic Intervention can stop our opponent from wiping away the board. So this taps for 2. Oh, Elves. So I think I like wiping the board away before we Narset here, just so we can get 2 cards off of her. Take our 2, and I suppose our opponent makes a 1/1 here. And then we have Push and Narset as follow-ups. I think I'll just take another Push. I think just do this now before our opponent can untap. So Elves, what do we feel our matchup's like against them? Elves with Leyline, which I don't typically see. I feel like it's okay. Collected Company is what we want to watch out for. Speaking of the devil. Ho 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 ho! Let's see where our opponent goes. So we could just mop this up now. I don't know if there's any need to. I guess our opponent could have like a Heroic Intervention. This could add a load of mana. Yeah, let's just mop it up. It gets our Searchers Canto quite close to flipping as well. So that's it. That's our set of cards. Our opponent's also out of cards though. Fortunately, a Narset's pretty good. It's also going to flip our Searchers Canto next turn. So Narset's pretty good. Yeah, I'll take an Absorb. We can't cast it this turn, but maybe Shark Typhoon was better. But if our opponent doesn't have something relevant this turn, and I don't think that counts as relevant, the Absorb is going to take over. Yeah, let's graveyard that. Yeah, let's go. And yeah, should be able to just take over from here. Teferi does what Teferi does, and he wins games quite oftenly. So, is Authority good against Coco? Maybe, maybe not. Against Elves, like, what do we want? I don't even want this Dovin's Veto. Maybe we want, like, Moment of Craving, but our opponent's creature is going to get pretty big. Maybe we want Cage? Is Cage too narrow? Maybe. I don't think we want the ECD. I think maybe we just want to bring in like our early removal. Like cut a counter spell. I don't know. We'll see how much of a problem Coco is in this matchup. And yeah, we might board in Grafdigger's Cage if we need it. Okay, so I think we're going to keep this on the basis that we have a Wrath of God and something to cycle to buy us a little bit of time. But hopefully our opponent doesn't have any pre-game action. No. So I'm really hoping to top deck another white source and hoping that the Shark Typhoon might be able to get us there. So let's see what our opponent does. Visionary. I think we're just going to cycle Shark Typhoon here. Try and hit land drops and have Absorb for the next turn. And there's our white source. Pretty happy with that. So, opponent, we have the Absorb. Do you have any big plays? I think we'll allow that. It's just going to get caught up in our Wrath of God. Opponent probably doesn't want to contribute too much more to the board. Yeah, makes sense. Heroic Intervention? Nope. Thing is, all of them cards replace themselves, so pretty resilient Elves list. So I am pretty happy with just the Teferi here. Hold up Censor. Though Censor not at its best against Elves. They're going to have a ton of mana. Do you want to kill this Llanowar Elves? Probably not. Just let it go. We might catch our opponent off with Censor. No, opponent! So, unfortunately, our opponent has 2 mana left open, so, yeah, it feels bad. So, Shark Typhoon it is. We don't really care about our opponent killing our creature here. Maybe we should have killed Llanowar Elves in response. But, I guess if they killed Teferi, it doesn't matter ultimately. I think we took our ECD out. Yeah, so we're just going to cast the Shark Typhoon since this is our way of winning now. Our Planeswalkers just represent 5/5s and 3/3s. So we need to bring our ECDs in if this is the way our opponent's tackling our list. Oh dear. Yeah, opponent, you can kill Teferi. Teferi's bought us quite a bit of life. So what? We can make a 3/3, hold up, absorb, or we could kill something. I think we kill this Elvish Clan Caller. So we can do it for free. We could do it instant speed. But I think I don't want to let them have the activated ability of the Clan Caller. And this plays around Heroic Intervention, not Blossoming Defense. But yeah, I think we're going to be forced to counter that. So the Immortal Sun is going to take over eventually, so we're just going to play some Sharks and try and beat our opponent down. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Opponent's got some pretty good card advantage going now. They chose not to activate, though. Interesting. Opponent's just going to let it go. Opponent really wants that food token. So yeah, if we lose this match, I think we need to bring in an ECD at the very least. I think I'm just going to sack this now. Actually, no, I think there's actual real reason to hold on to it, a Fatal Push. Opponent's beefing up the Elves. So this is the concession you make when you play like Goblins. I think we played earlier where they had not a full Goblins list. When they're playing like Vivians, Ley Lines, Immortal Suns, you sort of dilute the list a little bit. So it's not as strong as like a consistent Elves list. Which is nothing wrong with that, just you're not going to have the same explosive starts. Opponent already chump blocking. Okay. I guess they get to put a counter on everything here. So they're going for the bounce off and take 9. I'm just going to make another 3/3. And outside of our opponent having something quite spectacular, I think we're going to be okay. Opponent's taking 10 next turn, but they can't draw an extra card because of the Immortal Sun. Opponent gets to put counters on their things. I think they have to hold Gilded Goose back. but they can probably get in there with the other two. We can take 8. Oh, they're going over Narset. Okay. I don't know if that's correct. We're just going to take this here. Or let Narset take it. I don't think we're worried about extra cards at this point. So we attack and our opponent gets to kill one of our 3/3s, but we get to destroy our opponent in response. So our opponent gets to put a counter on, and then they get to put what? It's 6 mana. 6, 12, so 7, 8, 9, 10. So they get to put another counter on next turn, so it'll be 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 we'll be taking. I guess not actually, since we won't have lethal, because yeah, they have the food tokens. I guess they're not putting extra counters on, and they're just going to lose their Gilded Goose here. I mean, they're still dead next turn, so I don't know if that mattered too much. Opponent gets an extra card, though. Maybe that's what they were digging for. Maybe they know that 2 draws can get them out of here. Maybe like a Coco and something else. Maybe double Coco. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana our opponent has available to them, but they're just dead in the air now, I think. No Settle the Wreckage in our opponent's colours. I guess they've got Prevent All Combat damage. Are we playing around Prevent All Combat damage? No. Okay. Opponent's got it. Have you got like... Well, they need like double Gilded Goose. Make 2 foods. So opponent gets to block one of them, gain 3 life. And then they're still taking 4, 5, 6, 7. They're taking exactly lethal. Yeah, I think that's exact. Opponent goes up to 10. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, that's exact, yeah. Yeah, we're attacking for 10. Our opponent goes up for 10. Looks like not playing around that. Got there. But taking down Elves, like I said, maybe diluting their list a little bit, but I did enjoy the Immortal Sun.
Howdy guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I absolutely loved playing this control list. I have to say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this was the most enjoyable control list that I've played so far. And it hurts my soul because it doesn't have Chandra Torch of Defiance in there. But I am such a fan of this list. I think it really worked effectively and was doing everything control wanted to do. Some noticeable things that I probably want to change in the list just at first glances. I think the Fatal Pushes are good. I probably want the extra Narset. We didn't run into too much Sultai, but I think we're going to need that extra copy. ECD worked out okay. Soul Shatter, I think on the next time we revise this, I'm going to go up to a 4th copy and really let this card shine because it's just so outstanding. You saw, I know energy's not a big thing, but Bristling Hydra is very good against hexproof threats. It's just really good against, and being instant speed is so good. Obviously, you could run Murderous Rider instead, but I don't know, I like the idea of a Soul Shatter instead of a Murderous Rider. I'm just so hot on this card right now. I think maybe the Censors want to go. There was one matchup where we didn't counter the Ugin. We cycled Censor in the hope of hitting something in our main phase to do like a Planeswalker, and then our opponent taps down for Ugin, so that hurt very bad. I think moving forward as well, 4 Shark Typhoons is where I'm going to look to be as well, depending on what our threats are. Maybe if we go into more torrentials, we'll want to cut maybe a Shark Typhoon, but 4 felt really good. I felt like in most points in the game, you want a Shark Typhoon in your hand. It's just something to do in the end step. You cycle it for 1 or 2, make a 1 or 2 drop, and yeah, get free card out of it. It's just so good with your counter magic. It definitely feels like it works better in this list than in Grixis because we didn't run them in Grixis, but it feels better because you have so many instant speed so much instant speed reaction that Shark Typhoon just goes up in value so much. But let me know what you guys thought. Do you think that there's any changes we need to make? What do you think should be some of the edits? Because by no means is this list completely perfect. This is something I've spent a little bit of time working on, but not an insane amount of time. This will be something we come back and revise along with the other videos. So please do let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I upload a new video every day, so always come and check that out. Like I said, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays is standard and historic days, mainly historic because I love the format so much. Tuesdays and Thursdays are our is control viable in the historic meta. And all weekend, every weekend is drafting. So yeah, come and check that out. And like I said, you can always catch me on Twitch, Radio Magic. There'll be a link in the description down below, so come and see that. My work schedule is a little bit hectic, but I can always find time to stream at some point. I think mainly on weekends I'm going to be streaming because it's just convenient to do drafts and it's really fun to interact with people while doing that. But yeah, that's it. Monologue over. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, thank you so much for taking part, and until next time, stay safe.